Hello, everyone. This is Sonia here with Real Talk Radio, and I'm glad to be back with you again with another episode. I did recently start posting on my Patreon, actually, what I've been calling a daily word of the day that I've taken from many of my Real Talk Radio blog posts. And I got the inspiration to share these daily word of the days here in the podcast. So you might recognize some of what I'll be sharing in these if you were able to listen to the original full podcast episodes when I first did them. But these are more of a summary of the podcast that I've done probably over the past couple of years since I've started podcasting. And since most of these word of the days were taken from blog posts, you can find them on my blog as well. So I'm just going to be sharing these daily. I have 26 of them. So this is actually kind of a first for me to podcast something on a daily basis, and I am looking forward to it. You might also notice there is some new music at the beginning, and it'll be at the end of the podcast too. And my mom came up with that, so I just want to say a thank you to my mom, Vicki Summers, for the music. So this is the first word of the day that I'm going to be sharing in this series. And again, I'm really excited to be doing something daily with you. So I'm going to go ahead and just share the word of the day. And this word of the day is from my Real Talk Radio blog post that was originally published in June of 2018. So here we go with the word of the day. I wanted to share some quick excerpts and thoughts with you about the concept of expansion. For those of you who've been following my Spreaker podcast, you know that I've talked a lot about my experience of transitioning into the new season God has been leading me into. The process of being brought out of a spiritual wilderness and positioned to be able to move forward into a new season and promised land can be consuming and at times overwhelming, especially as we allow God to take us through a process of letting go of anything that would hinder us from moving forward. Here are a couple of excerpts from the podcast that take a look at expansion. I touched on the idea in the last episode that transition involves not just a deconstruction of an old season or mindsets or ideologies, etc., that were either incorrect or just outdated and so won't serve us in our new season with God, but the transition also involves a reconstruction as God leads us through a rebuilding to prepare us to enter into our new promised lands, whatever they might be for us. And this may still be taking shape for you as it is for me. If you have been feeling the shift into expansion like I have, you have probably been experiencing God calling you into new endeavors of some kind. The idea of expansion seems to be to a big extent about enlarging our spiritual territory, which does bring to my mind again the scripture I mentioned in the last episode from Isaiah 54 verse 2 from the NIV that says, "Enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes." So as we are faithful in these new things God has called us to do, whether big or small, we are experiencing expansion. Okay, guys, and that was the end of the word of the day and the end of the blog post as well. So I do hope that this word of the day has been a blessing to you, and I want to thank you for joining me. I look forward to being back with you again tomorrow with another word of the day. And if you would like to hear more on the topic of expansion, this full podcast episode titled Expansion can be found here on Spreaker. It's also available on Spotify, iTunes and iHeartRadio. Just look for SMills' show. So again, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope this has been an encouragement to you. And I look forward to being back with you again tomorrow with another word of the day. And until then, this is Sonia with Real Talk Radio, signing off for now.